From the grandstand here in the Isle of Man, and the weather is absolutely stunning. I woke up this morning, I looked at the weather forecast for the next few days and I just couldn't believe my eyes after last year, so happy days all round. Now I'm just with Jamie Cowton and McAdoo Kawasaki racing team, and we're just talking a little bit now about practice and going into next TT. But first of all, a little fact that people may not know about you, Jamie, is you're not really a big drinker, are you?
No, it's that's funny you say that, to be fair, because when I was on the podium, third for the TT, my first TT, and Chris Kinley said to me, "Are you going to have a few drinks tonight?" And I says, "No, I'll just have an orange juice. That'll do me." And funnily enough, Winston McAdoo was listening to that, and that's probably one of the reasons why I'm riding for his team, because they don't drink at all, and you don't need to drink to have a good fun and have a good time, and sort of Josh, who one of the mechanics from McAdoo, he's just high on life, so this shows you don't need a drink to have a good time and all. So yeah, it's I do now and again, but it doesn't really do a lot for me, to be fair.
We are live now on Manx Radio TT Facebook page. If you do want to see what Jamie Cowton looks like without his helmet, then do make sure that you plug into our Manx Radio TT page. Talking about drinking, it's interesting because now Isle of Man TT racers, road racers are really, really categorised as athletes, massive athletes, and you do an awful lot of fitness preparation. I know you mentioned before the break that you do get out on the motocross bike, you do have done some trials. What else do you do to keep fit during the year?
You just have to keep sort of upping your game every year, because I wasn't a massive gym person or that, because I don't really enjoy going in there and looking in a mirror and somebody else trying to flex their muscles at me. It just doesn't entertain me. So I try and do as much as I can in outside if I can, mountain biking and the motocross and flat tracking. But I have just recently got in with a personal trainer, Driffield Health Hub. And personal trainer Alice, she's doing us, absolutely proud. The progress we've made already is absolutely, amazing, to be fair. Been pushing me hard, which has been hard work, but when you stood on the podium, it all makes it worthwhile. And you just keep everybody else is up in their game, so you just have to go with it and do what you can to try and beat them.
So how then do we reflect on that with John McGuinness, who isn't perhaps, he doesn't categorise himself as so much of an athlete and go to the gym as much?
I don't know what to say, he's just some boy, isn't he?
Just looking ahead then, well, let's look back at practice. Friday evening you were out on the Super Sport and you got 1:21.847 and you were 11th there, nearly in the top 10 on the first practice. Absolutely fantastic. How did it go for you?
It's obviously first practice, you're just trying to get your head back into Isle of Man gear and just finding your way around again, and lumps and bumps and where's been resurfaced and where's not and all, and just having a bit of a shakedown really. The first lap, finding out where everything is, and then the second lap we pushed on a little bit more. There's a few things we want to do to the bike, and make me feel a bit comfortable. So it's sometimes when you're not 100% on it, you can do a decent enough time. So I was absolutely over the moon with 121.8 on my first night out. So do some change and see what the rest of it goes like.
With the weather being so good, is there a concern at all about getting too much practice in this year?
That is a balancing act really, trying to get enough practice in to get your head into gear and the bikes set up as you want them, but you can do too much, I think, and tire yourself out for the races, which I have done before, and so it's a bit of a balancing act, but we'll just do what we have to do, and you can't have too many laps for track knowledge, but you just got to balance it out, I say, with tiring yourself out ready for next week. So. And
also the expense of it. There's an awful lot of expense of running these bikes. So actually, if you're out there every night and you're practicing every night, you're wearing the tyres down, and do you have to worry about that too? And fuel price as well.
Yeah, it's all take into account. We still have to see the bill of putting the fuel and all in the bikes. So, Mets do help us out a bit, so it makes the things a little bit easier. But tyres, you just have to keep throwing them at it and you got to be careful on engine wear a little bit as well, to, so you can make it through the fortnight and all. But yeah, you just got to balance it all out, and hopefully by end of next week it'll all come right.
You mentioned Metzer there, and it's interesting. I watched an interview with you, I think it was after the Northwest 200 possibly, and they asked you the question, which would you really want as a win, senior TT win or MotoGP podium? What was your answer?
Senior win, obviously. It's just the scene that we're in, doing road racing, and to be fair, I don't even watch the GP, so
I'm really surprised at that.
Yeah, it's time thing more than anything. When you're that got your head into your own racing and all, and sorting your own things out, you don't have a great deal of time to watch what everybody else is doing, which is a little bit selfish. But I
think you have to be selfish and be in that mind frame for sure. And let's look ahead then at next week. And you're saying there you're happy so far with the setup on the Supersport. You're going to be out this evening on the Superbike as well. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, the big bike's always an animal on the roads, but you just got to get you set up best you can and get the best out of it. And I don't think you can have too many laps on that for setup wise. You just ease into it steady, and hopefully we're doing some good times by the race.
What's the game plan for next week?
We're in every race but the sidecars, so it's going to be a hectic one, with us being on the electric bike as well. So obviously our strongest class is hopefully going to be the Super Twin, but hopefully we can keep up with all the patterns and all, and Ivan was going well the other night as well, so hopefully we can pull it all together for next week and do well in that. But I do feel strong in the Super Sport, and I hope that we can be well in the top 10 next week. So and the big bike, we finished 15th in both Super Stock and Superbike last year, so you always want to improve on that, and so we'll see how we go.
And we're going to see you back at the Classic?
Absolutely, yeah. We've got 2 classes to ride in at the moment, and possibly a third or a fourth maybe to come. But you can't get enough laps around here, as I say, and so looking for. I love riding the classic bikes as well, so it all makes it worthwhile.
Who would you say as a rider you look up to the most?
You've got to look up to John. How many TTs he's won, and as you were saying, he doesn't actually do that many hours in the gym to make to even make things work. So it's quite amazing that, really, and So John's a big inspiration, and another one is probably my dad. My dad never raced around here, but my dad did a lot of racing, and he's a good rider himself, and it's just I find it quite amazing what they used to do and what they used to ride, and also probably them two is the top of my list. So.
And how does your dad feel about you riding?
Yeah, absolutely. He's in it and probably loves it more than I do. To be fair, he's down there now working on the bikes, and Neil as well, main mechanic. It's his birthday today, in fact, and having his birthday at TT must be nice.
Come on, sing us happy birthday, Jamie. Come on.
No, I can't sing, but I want to wish him happy birthday, and thank all the boys down there for doing a mega job. It's spot on.
Thank you so much for your time. It's great to speak to you for so long here on Manx Radio TT. We wish you all the very best of luck, and we'll be catching up with you no doubt next week. Thank you to Jamie Cowton for being on the show. Here is Calvin Harris with his latest One Kiss.